Several years ago, I gave a humorous speech at my Toastmasters Club that was entitled, My Crazy Uncle Val. And in that speech, I talked about my mother's brother and talked about some of the things that he had done that led me to give him that nickname. Tonight, I'm going to do a follow-up speech, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that I love, admire, appreciate, and respect about my Uncle Val. One of the first things I would want you to know about him is that he is a colorful character, larger than life. He's a man who says what he means and means what he says. You always know where you stand with Uncle Val because he'll tell you. Uncle Val has a powerful voice, strong moral fiber, and the good looks of a movie star. Imagine, if you will, John Wayne without the hat or the horse. Uncle Val has an infectious laugh, and when he laughs, it erupts from his belly and envelops you like a tidal wave. When people around him hear him laugh, they'll laugh too, whether they heard what he said or not. It's that kind of laugh. Like John Wayne, Uncle Val would stand for that which he believed in. Many years ago, he took on the IRS and the federal government because it's his belief that the federal income tax is unconstitutional. The Constitution and the principles which it embodies were a guiding light for Uncle Val. Uncle Val is a patriot in the truest sense of the word. He believes in this country and the values that this country stands for. Had he been around in 1776, I'm reasonably certain that he would have signed the Declaration of Independence, as did our great-great-great-great-great-great-granduncle, William Whipple, who signed the Declaration of Independence from the state of New Hampshire. And as a side note, Uncle Val and his wife Denny were married on the 4th of July. When I was a boy, Uncle Val was like a second father to me, and he played an important part of my development. Uncle Val taught me the love of the great outdoors. He took me camping and boating. He taught me how to hunt, how to fish, and when I was 10 years old, he taught me how to drive. He taught me how to drive in an old sand buggy that he built himself. It had no doors, no windows, no windshield, and no fenders. It was fast and it was loud. And one of the things that Uncle Val used to love to do in that sand buggy as he was driving down the street is he'd turn off the key, pump the gas pedal a couple times, and turn the key back on. Boom! The engine would backfire and it would startle anyone around him. I can recall a couple times where people would drop their groceries. John Wayne used a 6-shooter to enforce the law. Uncle Val used the pointed end of his cowboy boot. And on 2 occasions I can remember where my rear end and the pointed toe of his cowboy boot had a come to Jesus meeting after Uncle Val heard me back talking to my mother. Back talking to my mother was not okay with Uncle Val. As far back as I can remember, Uncle Val either cut my hair or took me to the barber to have my hair cut. And I remember him telling the barber, "Give him a boy's haircut." When I was a freshman in high school, I remember the cute little girl that sat in front of me said, "Why don't you let your hair grow out longer?" And I had to sheepishly tell her that my Uncle Val took me to get my hair cut. And her response was, "Well, why don't you just tell him to cram it?" Which I found especially funny because Uncle Val's last name is Cram, Val Cram. About a year and a half ago, Uncle Val was given a diagnosis and told that he had cancer and that he had 30 to 60 days to live. But being the fighter that he is, Uncle Val beat the odds, and thankfully he's still with us. Uncle Val has always had a different way of doing things, and a year ago he decided to have a party to celebrate his impending demise. He called it his going away party, and he invited his family and all of his close friends to celebrate while he was still alive. I'm proud to say that many of my best character traits are traits that I borrowed from my Uncle Val. Uncle Val, thank you for being a positive influence in my life and the lives of the people around you. I didn't always show it, I didn't always say it, but I always loved you and appreciated you for being the man that you are. The world is definitely a better place because of you. I love you, Uncle Val.